Wagner.
Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I speak to the Prime Minister's commencement speech, and it is all about stepping up.
Point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
I just see that the member was distracted. He did make a commitment to seek leave to table something.
Could I just say to the member that you've committed exactly the same transgression as that member did. Nicky Wagner was speaking, and the member knows well that you can't seek leave on behalf of another member to do things. No, I want to remind members that it's respectful in this House to let people continue to speak, and points of order are about order of the House. That member was out of order to seek a point of order to table a paper. This member, Mr Mallard, is out of order just as well to take the issue up himself.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order, the Honourable Darren Hughes. This is order, Mr Hughes.
I certainly don't want to be called out of order by you, sir, and I wouldn't have raised it unless we were already on the item. My understanding was that you rightly pulled Mr Heatley up and you said, I will put the leave at the end of the speech in order not to interrupt the member. So, the member did seek leave, which, as a convention, you don't break up a speech, but he did seek the leave, and your response was to say, I'll put the leave at the end of the member's speech, which is the time that's come now.
Well, as I recall it, I said to the member I would take his leave at the end of the speech. It's up for that member to stand at that point, take the point of order, and seek leave. I am not going to take leave on that member's behalf, and I wasn't going to give him the advantage of having his leave taken, which was disorderly. To have accepted leave at that point would have been in some way to condone the disorderly behaviour. I was not doing that. So the member wanted to take leave. It's up to him to move it at the end of the speech. We're taking nothing now. We're taking Nicky Wagner, who started. Nicky Wagner, the floor is yours, and we're going to have a respectful House listen to you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is all about stepping up for 2010. The Prime Minister is committed to a step change, long overdue, in New Zealand's economic performance, with a focus on growing the economy and creating sustainable new jobs. As Moana Maki commented, 2009 has been a tough year for New Zealanders. As we've managed the fallout from the international fiscal meltdown and the worst recession for 50 years, the government's focus was on protecting families from the sharpest edges of the economy, supporting jobs and preparing for future growth. It's been particularly tough for those who've lost their jobs or whose jobs have been downsized. It's also been a tough year for those who've worked longer and harder and for less return, and for everyone who's been fearful and worried about what the recession could do for them and their families. Since the last election, the government has focused firmly on stimulating the economy, firstly to maintain and then to actively create job opportunities. We have invested in infrastructure, in roads, in schools and in broadband, and we've invested in those projects to create jobs now and also to underpin future productivity. And we've provided opportunities for young people through the Jobs Ops and the Community Max schemes, and I've seen some really good examples of this working in Christchurch. We've also provided financial support and encouragement for those who have lost their jobs and have helped many of them find new ones. And now, after surviving 2009, and with the indicators that the economy, both national and international, is improving, it's time to make some real change. It's time to make change in taxation, in education, and in investment in science and technology. The taxation system is a powerful lever for change. And intuitively, most of us have always felt that there were problems with our tax system. So appointing an expert advisor, technical tax advisory working group to look at the issues was an intelligent first step. Their analysis identified major problems in terms of integrity, in terms of fairness, and in terms of incentives. They say that the taxation system is broken, and that means we must make change, and the Prime Minister has outlined how he wants to reform the system. The reforms will create incentives for people to work hard, to improve their skills and to get ahead. The reforms must encourage savings and boost productivity. And the reforms must be fair for all New Zealanders. And I think anyone would agree with these broad intentions. But the opposition, even though they know that there's got to be change, have scaremongered about every possible taxation scenario in the most negative of terms. They have not offered one positive suggestion. National will address these issues, and the budget will present a well-thought-out taxation package that will. It will reduce personal tax rates to encourage investment and savings. And it will change the way that property is taxed to ensure that the tax system is fair. But it will protect the vulnerable and low-income families. The budget will make no major changes to working for families, and the budget will compensate low and middle-income earners, beneficiaries and superannuitants if GST is raised. The framework, as outlined, has generally been well received. In fact, it's hard to argue against it. Accountants KPMG said, "This is the right way to go about tax reform to ensure a fair and coherent tax regime." And Charles Finney from the Wellington Regional Chamber of Commerce said, "We're pleased with the government's intention to rebalance the tax system and we strongly support the direction outlined." So, expect to see in the budget an intelligent reorganisation of the tax system which will be fair to all and will produce positive change in our economy. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about education. Education opens doors. Education allows choices. And education is the key to future opportunities and future prosperity for our young people. Most people understand that. In fact, I find particularly the young people of the third world countries understand the power of education and are thirsty for educational opportunities. They make enormous sacrifices to get access to learning. They even stop you in the street to practice their English. But too many young New Zealanders are unengaged with school and education and are not subsequently getting the opportunities that they deserved to make a difference. I believe that in New Zealand we have sold out our young people. We've sold them short with 1/5 of school leavers who can't read or write. They can't read or write enough to hold down a job, and that's a crime. That many employers have to teach basic numeracy and literacy in their business to upskill the workers says it all. And as the greatest percentage of our jobs become more sophisticated, more high-tech and more demanding, there are dwindling opportunities for those who don't have a decent education. We need to take action now to involve and engage all young people in learning and in educational achievement. So, I support national standards, and I believe that they will help schools, families and young people themselves to understand educational standards and the expectations of schools and of life, so that a far greater percentage of our young people will get an education that will fit them for the world of work and allow them to take up future opportunities and to fully engage in our communities. And finally, I'd like to talk about encouraging innovation in science, research and technology. And here I am particularly interested in the stimulation of what I'm calling blue-green businesses. Businesses that are environmentally friendly, sustainable and profitable. The Primary Growth Partnership Fund underpins $14 million for research and innovation to boost New Zealand's primary, forestry and food sectors. And this will be a catalyst for work in the blue-green business area, and there are plenty of ideas to develop. Just yesterday, on Nationals Radio's Rural Report, we heard of 2 new initiatives. The first was about processing wool. Wool is getting a new persona as a natural, high-quality, environmentally friendly product, And yesterday they were promoting eco-certification of wool processing to underpin